Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos. So current transfer rumours to currently give you guys an update on, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Romelu Lukaku. So we do basically know that Romelu Lukaku is not an imperative player for Manchester United, and obviously it's looking likely he's going to be one of the players that's going to be leaving Manchester United this summer. So it's looking very imminent indeed. So potentially as we all do know, Lukaku is destined to make the move to Italy, because obviously Lukaku was talking a while back about his dream playing in the Serie A, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has blatantly made it clear that Romelu Lukaku is surplus to requirements at Manchester United. So it does basically say now that obviously Inter Milan have inquired by his services. Obviously Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Romelu Lukaku. Reportedly it does say that Romelu Lukaku has agreed personal terms with Inter Milan. I don't think an initial fee has yet come to any kind of agreement, because I think the quoted fee is around £70 million that Manchester United want. I don't know if Inter Milan are willing to pay up to £70 million for Romelu Lukaku, but this is the quoted fee that Manchester United want. I think it did speculate saying that Inter Milan rate Romelu Lukaku at around £50 million. It did say of course as well that Inter Milan are willing to meet his current wage demands, because we do know that Lukaku is on around £250,000 a week at Manchester United, but reportedly it did say as well that Lukaku is willing to take a pay cut to leave Manchester United of course as well. So we do potentially know Antonio Conte is set to be Inter Milan's new manager, of course, to currently replace Luis Spelta, and I think that Antonio Conte has identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. But like I said, if we can cash in for Romelu Lukaku, it's going to be very beneficial for Manchester United. I do think it will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it will help us with our transition. Of course, Manchester United paid £75 million for Lukaku, obviously a couple of years ago from Everton. Obviously, there were add-ons included in the deal. I think the add-ons were around £15 million. So initially, it had risen the deal to £90 million. And of course, he has still got 3 years left on his contract as Lukaku. But I think Lukaku's agent had revealed a while back, that his future is very open indeed. So this is what currently Lukaku's agent had currently said. But like I said, he's got 3 years left on his contract. But like I said, I've got strong reservations about Romelu Lukaku. When it comes to his footballing ability, when it comes to his link-up play, when it comes to his first touch, I have got strong reservations about Lukaku, and also I've got reservations about him when it comes to him playing the big teams, because he never rises up to the occasion against the big teams, and of course he is a big game bottler. But potentially we do know, like I said, he's moved to Inter Milan now. He's looking very imminent. And like I said, I don't think an initial fee has yet come to an agreement, but I think that the personal terms have obviously been agreed. So potentially it came out quite a few days ago, saying that Inter Milan were willing to offer £30 million for Lukaku. They were also willing to offer Ivan Perisic, to lure Romelu Lukaku away from Manchester United. But obviously, this is obviously, Manchester United, of course, are not willing to go along with this, because obviously, Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. But we do know under the Jose Mourinho era that Ivan Perisic, was a long-term target for Manchester United, of course, but he's no longer a Manchester United target now. I do think initially I said if we are willing to let if we are willing to let Romelu Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, we are demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar, of course, because obviously he's been a long-term target for Manchester United as Milan Skriniar. So I do believe it said Romelu Lukaku is willing to take a pay cut. So I do believe he's going to be making the move to Inter Milan. But I think we initially want to recoup the initial £70 million. We did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, of course. So yeah, it's looking likely he's going to be making the move to Inter Milan, and obviously we're going to need a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. But like I said, I credit Lukaku, because his ratio is still very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, and his pedigree, of course, is very good in the Premier League. And like I said, he has still got a lot of development in him as Romelu Lukaku. But obviously, we are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out. Obviously, Lukaku is one of the favourable players that's going to be leaving Manchester United. As I said, I expect around 4 or 5 players, to leave Manchester United this summer. Obviously, all the players that we do currently want to leave, obviously, we're not going to be able to address this problem in one window. It's going to take a couple of windows, to currently address that problem. Solskjaer, wants to bring at least 5 new players to the club. He's getting a spending spree of around £250 million. Of course, obviously we do know the club that are still looking, to hire a director of football, to come in, to change the structure of the club. Obviously as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing this summer. But yeah, so it's looking like Lukaku's move is very, very imminent indeed. So now obviously talking about Paul Pogba, as I did give you my update yesterday about Paul Pogba, because obviously he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, Paul Pogba's move is looking very, very imminent indeed, and I think his likely destination is Real Madrid. His preferred destination, of course, is Real Madrid. So potentially, a lot of reports were coming out from Spain yesterday. I think it came as well from a very reliable Spanish journalist. I think it's called Eduardo Inda, and he basically said Paul Pogba to Real Madrid is practically done. I think that Paul Pogba as well has agreed to take a massive pay cut. So I think his salary is set to reduce from 13 million a year to 10 million a year a year. So it's obviously set to reduce by about £3 million pounds. Obviously we do know it came out a couple of weeks ago saying that the talks between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid had currently stalled, based on Paul Pogba's 13 million a year wage demands, because obviously his wage demands did not fit in Real Madrid's wage structure. Of course, Paul Pogba, of course, is willing to take a pay cut. I think Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still know that Paul Pogba is an imperative player for Manchester United. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can, to try and convince, Paul Pogba to stay at the club. Because looking at it, he's a very imperative player, is Paul Pogba. Even though he hasn't really exceeded expectations, he hasn't really been the fundamental player, Paul Pogba, as we all thought he currently would have been, of course, regarding what he did in his 4 years in Turin with Juventus, because he was really, really good in his 4 years with Juventus, was Paul Pogba. But he hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United. He did really, really well. He did really, really well when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in his first 3 months. Paul Pogba was playing really, really well. He was in scintillating form. Mainly we saw the best of Paul Pogba, of course, when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasised how much of an impact Ander Herrera made, because obviously Ander Herrera was freeing up Paul Pogba. Pogba was expressing himself. Pogba was scoring goals. Paul Pogba, of course, was providing. But at least his last 89 games, Paul Pogba has been so inconsistent for Manchester United. So according to Eduardo India, obviously he was a Spanish journalist, he's still basically saying that a fee is being negotiated still, because obviously an initial fee has obviously not yet come to an agreement, and I think it's a fee between 137 and 150 million pounds. That's currently being agreed. So I do believe we can get in the region of around 135 or 145 million pounds for Paul Pogba this summer. Obviously, an estimated guess. Initially, it did say Manchester United at full value wanted around 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba, but obviously this was a figure, of course, that Real Madrid, of course, were not willing to currently meet. But maybe the couple of the main factor reasons why Paul Pogba, wants to leave Manchester United, maybe he wants to be playing in Champions League football, maybe he wants to be up there challenging, maybe he wants to be up there winning trophies, and obviously, this is something, of course, that Manchester United cannot offer him. We do basically know that Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of the player. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane's emphasised his targets for this summer. Obviously, he's got a lot of the players on his agenda, but obviously, his 2 main priority targets, obviously, Paul Pogba and, of course, Chelsea's Eden Hazard. But Paul Pogba, of course, is destined to make the move to Madrid. Obviously, about, was it 6 or 7 weeks ago, he was talking a lot about Real Madrid, about his dream to currently play for Real Madrid. Obviously, he did identify at some point in his career he does currently want to play for Real Madrid. So his move now is looking very, very imminent indeed. But obviously, it hasn't been fully finalised as yet. But we do potentially know reports came out last week saying that Solskjaer and that, willing to offer him the captaincy, in a bid, to convince Paul Pogba to stay at the club. But obviously, this isn't going to be enough, to convince Paul Pogba to stay at the club. Obviously, we do know Paul Pogba's agent, Raiola, at least in a number of weeks now, he's been in the process of, securing his move to Real Madrid. We do know that Paul Pogba has still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. Obviously, he's been at Manchester United now over 3 years. Obviously, we do know that we paid £89 million to him, obviously our most expensive signing, of course. And like I did say, it's not always about getting them Glasgow signings. It's not always about spending, big on players as well. As obviously, Manchester United have got a history of doing, spending big on players, and it doesn't always guarantee you success. Getting the Glasgow players spending big on players, and that's a prime example. Paul Pogba 89 million, in recent years. Lukaku 75 million pounds in recent years, and obviously, we haven't got in that commanding position, of course, where we should currently be. of course. So looking very likely, that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving Manchester United. It's also been speculated in the last couple of days, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing Paul Pogba. He did say that Juventus were willing to offer, Paul Dybala and Alexandro as part of a swap deal with Paul Pogba. Obviously, initially, Paul Dybala has been a potential Manchester United target anywhere, but he did say Juventus are willing to offer a couple of their players, to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. But we do know Paul Pogba was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, he was linked to his former club Juventus. He was linked to a move to Barcelona, and obviously Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho got sacked from the club. Obviously, as well, Paul Pogba's a World Cup winner. Obviously, at Manchester United, he's won the Europa League and League Cup. Obviously, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season. But let's be honest, he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United as Paul Pogba. But he potentially, he's still one of the best midfielders in the world. When he's playing in the right vein, when he's playing in the right man, and he's still 26 years of age. He's in his prime, and he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course. So potentially now, I think if we can get around 135 or 145 million pounds of Paul Pogba, we can potentially get two players there with that money. I do know it's going to be hard for us to find a player of Paul Pogba's calibre or level, but looking at we can get two players, with around 135 or 145 million pounds. Maybe we could even get three players there with that money. So I do think it will be very beneficial because it will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it will help us with our transition. So like I said, 200 million pound plus, for Lukaku and Paul Pogba, we can currently get. We're getting 250 million pounds, but like I said, this summer to spend. But if we can cash in for De Gea, we can cash in for Pogba and Lukaku. That's going to take our spending speed to around £500 million this summer. But as you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on, getting players to Manchester United who he thinks are good enough, to represent Manchester United, of course. And obviously he's working on as well, keeping imperative players at Manchester United. And obviously, prime example, Paul Pogba, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't want to see Paul Pogba leave. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has spoken to Paul Pogba a while back, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still insists that Paul Pogba will be at Manchester United next season. But looking likely, he's going to be making the move to Real Madrid. And obviously, this is stemming from Eduardo India, who was reportedly supposed to be a very reliable Spanish journalist. He said he's moved to Real Madrid. He's practically done. Nothing's been fully finalised as yet. I think he's agreed to pay up. Obviously, a fee has not yet come to an agreement. So as I've been giving an update, regularly about Matthias De Ligt for Mike, because obviously he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window as Matthias De Ligt, because it is looking very imminent, that he's going to be leaving Ajax this summer. Matthias De Ligt, it still remains uncertain, where he will be applying his trade next season. Matthias De Ligt, but like I said, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. A lot of teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, he is a central defender. Obviously, that's one of the priority areas where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. Well, to be quite honest with you, I think we need two central defenders, but I do believe Matthias De Ligt, would be the right solution. Obviously, he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has blatantly made it clear, he wants to recommend a number of young players to come in, and obviously, Matthias De Ligt is only 19 years of age. But I do believe there's a lot of credibility in these stories, about Matthias De Ligt and all that. Obviously, we know positive news came out a couple of days ago, saying that talks between Matthias De Ligt and Barcelona, had currently come to a conclusion. Obviously, based on, obviously they struggled, to come to an agreement on the terms. Barcelona are reluctant, to currently increase their offer, for Matthias De Ligt. And we do know they'd been in talks, Barcelona and Matthias De Ligt and his agent Raiola and all that. But now reportedly, the talks have currently come to an end. So now could it be making the move to Manchester United? Because we do know City have inquired about his services, because City looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. Liverpool, of course, have inquired about his services. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy to get the players' signature. Obviously, it came out from Sky Sports, was it only last week, if I'm right, saying that he's set to join Barcelona. Matthias De Ligt had currently made an admission, saying his preferred destination is Barcelona, because maybe the main factor reason why that was because obviously he wants to reunite with his current teammate Frankie de Jong. But now reportedly, Barcelona have now reportedly opted out the race. Now Manchester United now could be actually in the ascendancy, to get Manchester United, because I think we've blatantly made it clear we are willing to outbid, any team. Reportedly, Manchester United have offered him a contract, worth up to around £350,000 a week. Obviously, this is a figure that Barcelona are not willing to currently meet. So I think £350,000 a week, I think that equates to around almost £17 million a year. So if this was actually, to process, this would make Matthias de Ligt one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. Obviously, as well, making the highest paid teenager in world football. And maybe from Matthias de Ligt's perspective, that is a contract offer that is too good to turn down. I think he did say he told his representatives that he's willing to accept Manchester United's contract offer. I think in terms of transfer fees, he's going to cost you around 65 or 70 million pounds, is Matthias de Ligt, because that's what he's initially rated at. But it also said Manchester United lodged a bidding of around 70 million pounds for Matthias de Ligt. So I think potentially it did say quite a few days ago from Sky Sports saying that Manchester United had ruled out a move for Matthias de Ligt. And I think the main factor reason why that was because I think Manchester United were very, very convinced. He was set to join Barcelona, of course. So he did say initially Manchester United had opted him out of the race. But before that, it came out from a very reliable Spanish journalist, Gerard Romero, and he basically said that Manchester United are very close to signing, de Ligt. It didn't mention that, Manchester United had agreed a fee or any, terms had been agreed. It just said Manchester United, were very close to signing Matthias de Ligt. But some media outlets, still did speculate saying that, Matthias de Ligt transferred to Barcelona is a done deal, the initial fee has been agreed, but obviously, they haven't come to an agreement on the terms, of course. But I really, really like Matthias de Ligt a lot. Who knows? He could still remain at Ajax. He could remain loyal to Ajax, but I think it's looking very, very likely he's going to be leaving. Obviously, so far he has spent the entire term of his career with Ajax as Matthias de Ligt. Being an Ajax player since the age of 9, progressing up the ranks fantastically well, and I think he's been in the senior squad with Ajax, since 2016. So he initially made his senior debut at just the age of 16, and he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad as Matthias de Ligt. So like I said, only 19 years of age, centre back as well. Very, very tall as well. Which is very, very beneficial. And I do believe if he came to Premier League, it would take his career to the next level. The only defender as well to win the Golden Boy award. I think he became more of a first team star. When Davinson Sanchez, departed for Tottenham, back in 2017. So he's done really, really well for Ajax. Obviously, Edwin van der Sar's convinced he's going to leave. He said this about 3 weeks ago. Edwin van der Sar said he'll either make the move to England or Spain, will Matthias de Ligt. So his future still remains up in the air at the moment. But obviously, we're not in Champions League football for next season. Like I said, it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level. But I think Matthias de Ligt, some reports did say he's determined to join Manchester United, even though we cannot offer him, Champions League football for next season. But I do believe he would be fantastic for Manchester United, indeed, with Matthias de Ligt. So we'll basically, keep you up to date of what's going on with him, because obviously, more things will update about Matthias de Ligt. So as I did update you yesterday of what was going on in regard to Giovanni Lo Celso now from Real Betis. Now he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. I think it has come out in the last couple of days in the media saying that quite a few clubs have inquired by his services. So I think Tottenham have been linked to him. Manchester United have also been in for him. Also Manchester City have expressed their interest in Giovanni Lo Celso, if I've currently pronounced his name right. He's 23 years of age. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Of course, he's a Real Betis midfielder. I think he's primarily a central midfielder is this player. Obviously, we do know if he is sold, is Giovanni Lo Celso. Obviously, PSG are going to benefit from this. Obviously, PSG do get a percentage of any sale. Of course, I think the percentage is around 20% or something like that. I think Real Betis got him permanently. Was it back in April? I think they paid around £22 million for him permanently, because initially he was on loan Real Betis, because Real Betis got him on loan last summer from PSG, but then Real Betis, of course, made the deal permanent, back in April, of course. So PSG, basically, do benefit from this. I think his initial release clause is around £88 million in his deal with Real Betis. I think he scored 16 goals in all competitions this season, and obviously, that midfield area is one of the priority areas where Manchester United, of course, do need to strengthen up. So there has been talks about Giovanni Lo Celso in the last couple of days. Reports came out yesterday saying that Tottenham have put a bid in for him of around 53 million pounds. Obviously, Pochettino wants back in this summer, because I think reports came out a while back saying that Pochettino has threatened to resign as Tottenham manager, if he isn't back this summer. Obviously, we do know Tottenham have not done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows, but they have done well to get to the first Champions League final. But obviously, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, I think the last time they did transfer activity was back in January 2018. I think that was Lucas Moura they got. Obviously, their record signing was Davinson Sanchez for Ajax back in 2017. I think Tottenham paid around £42 million for Davinson Sanchez back in 2017. So reportedly put a bid in of around £53 million for Giovanni Lo Celso, of course. So he's been widely spoken about. So do you think it'd be the right solution for Manchester United? Obviously, he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy because he's young. But to be quite honest with you, don't really know much about the player, as you all know. But like I potentially said, guys, I think the right replacement for Paul Pogba, would be Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, as he updated you about him a couple of days ago when I was in my garden, of course, potentially he did basically say, that Bruno Fernandes is unsure about his future. He doesn't know where his future lies. He did basically mention that he's had 2 intense years, with Sporting Lisbon. He doesn't know if he's going to spend a third year there, and he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. But he has basically, refused to rule out a move to, the Premier League, of course. Obviously, we do know Manchester United have been heavily linked to him. Also, Manchester City, of course, have been heavily linked with Bruno Fernandes. But I do believe he's got all the attributes and all the capabilities to succeed in the Premier League, as Bruno Fernandes. He's only very young. He's 24 years of age, so he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him as Bruno Fernandes. I think City are emerging as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. I think City want to wrap up a deal worth around £43 million for his services. Obviously, it came out a couple of weeks ago that the quoted fee was around £60 million that Sporting Lisbon, we're currently demanding for him. His initial lease clause is around £85 or £86 million in his contract with Sporting Lisbon, because he's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But like I said, he can score goals, he can provide, he's primarily an attacking midfielder, is Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, had a lot of experience of playing in Italy when he was younger under his belt, with the likes of San Pandora and underneath. But I do believe he'd be the right figure for Manchester United, of course, and I think he could elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. So I do believe it'd be the right solution for Manchester United. And obviously, a player Bruno Fernandes' calibre, obviously, the more attractive option would be Manchester City for him. But I do believe that Manchester City are emerging as the front runners. Obviously, Manchester City are going to see him as a potential replacement for Fernandinho. But actually, Fernandinho is primarily a defensive midfielder. So there has been a lot of talks about Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes did also deny, making any negotiation with Manchester United over the potential move to Old Trafford. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. So he's one midfielder I'd love at Manchester United. Talking about Youri Tielemans, I think there was a lot of speculation going on about him a couple of weeks ago, but I think at least in the last couple of days, more news was updated about Youri Tielemans now. Youri Tielemans is 22 years of age. There has been quite a few teams that have inquired by his services. City have recently entered the race for him. Man United have been linked to him. Arsenal have been linked to him. I think also Tottenham have inquired by his services. So there's quite a few teams in there for him. But I think from Leicester's perspective, they want to get a deal. They want to get him on a permanent deal because he's done really well since he's gone on loan with Leicester. So he's had about 5 or 6 months now of experience under his belt in the Premier League as Youri Tielemans. But like I said, he's got a hell of a lot of development in him. I think he's primarily a central midfielder. I think from Youri Tielemans' perspective, he is expected, to make the return to Monaco, of course, when his loan spell ends with Leicester. But he is available for a reasonable figure. Reportedly, I think the quoted fee is around £40 million that Monaco would demand for Youri Tielemans. So he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation as well. So there has been a lot of negotiations going on about him. I do believe Manchester United as well, do currently need a centre defensive midfielder, because obviously I think at the moment Scott McTominay is too inexperienced. Obviously, Fellaini left there back in January, and obviously, the Man United is aging up. He's too ineffective, he's too slow, and I've got strong reservations about the Man United. So I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder. Of course, obviously, there's been quite a few centre defensive midfielders on Manchester United's agenda, as you all know. as you all currently know, have been giving you an update on. And yeah, so we need quite a few midfielders. Obviously, we know Joe Felix, he's been spoken about as well. Obviously, only 19 years of age. It did potentially say that Man United stepped up their interest in Joe Felix. I think Benfica have blatantly made it clear that they are demanding for his current release clause to be triggered. If they are willing to do any business with the player. Obviously, his release clause is around £105 million in his deal with Benfica, of course. But he's been impressive throughout the course of this season. It's only been his first season in the senior squad with Benfica. Obviously, he's yet to make his senior debut with Portugal. So there has been a lot of talks about Joe Felix going on. But again, quite a few teams have inquired about his services. City have inquired about him. Real Madrid have inquired about him. Also, I think Liverpool inquired about him in January. But Man United have been scouting him, for a very, very long time now. He is primarily an attacking midfielder. Can also play as a winner, striker, secondary striker. So very, very versatile indeed. But got a hell of a lot of development in him. I do believe if he came to the Premier League, he would take his career to the next level. I do believe he would succeed in the Premier League, and I do think he'd have the abilities and the minerals, to make it to the highest level in the Premier League, of course. But I do believe he can emulate, Joe Felix, to one of the best players in the world without a shadow of a doubt. So I would be happy for us, to spend around 100 or 105 million pounds on Joe Felix. I think from Joe Felix's perspective, I think he still is unsure about his future. I don't think he's sure where he will currently be next season. But obviously at the moment he's at Benfica. But there has been quite a few teams that have attracted their interest in Joe Felix. So obviously he's been spoken about. Obviously we do know, talking about Jadon Sancho, obviously he was the club's #1 priority target for a very, very long time, but obviously it's looking very, very imminent, that he's gonna be set to stay at Borussia Dortmund at least for another season of Jadon Sancho. Obviously the Borussia Dortmund CEO had currently confirmed this, because I think from Borussia Dortmund's perspective, they know how much of the central player Jadon Sancho is. He didn't actually say Manchester United we're willing to pay his £100 million valuation, but I think the main factor reason why we are set to miss out on Jadon Sancho this summer, obviously based on our failure for Champions League football next season. And I think basically, he's a really, really good player. He's only 19 years of age, is Jadon Sancho. He has still got him a lot of years ahead of him. But obviously, I don't know about his long-term future. He could move on. He could move, in his long-term future. But obviously, next season, he's destined, to remain with Borussia Dortmund, is Jadon Sancho. So he was the club's #1 priority target, for a very, very long time. But obviously, now we are set to currently miss out on Jadon Sancho. But like I said, we are expected, to orchestrate a big summer clear-out, of course. Obviously, another problem with Manchester United as well, have let far too many players contracts run down. Rashford's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, when Matt's coming to the end of his deal, it's looking imminent. He's going to be leaving the club. Obviously, De Gea's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, it's looking again very imminent. He's going to be leaving the club. And obviously, it was bad business for Manchester United, of course, letting Ander Herrera go on a free transfer. And like I basically said, I expect Darmian and Rojo to leave Manchester United this summer. I think at an estimated guess, we can get around £30 million, for Darmian and Marcus Rojo. Like I said, with Eric Bay, I think he's going to be also, leaving Manchester United, especially if a new centre-back is recommended to come in. Obviously, Eric Bay burst into the scenes very, very well when he first came into the Premier League, but I think, based on his fallout under managers and his injuries he has sustained, it has really, really had a bad effect on Eric Bay's career. Obviously, we paid £30 million in for Villarreal 3 years ago, and obviously we'll look to recoup the initial £30 million we did pay for him, of course, if we are willing to sell Eric Bay. So I think we do currently need to sell him. Obviously, it's looking like Alexis Sanchez will be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, we can't get rid of him, permanently, based on his substantial wages. There was talks, was it yesterday, going on saying that he has been urged, to make a return to Arsenal as Alexis Sanchez, even though it did come out a couple of weeks ago saying that his Sanchez's agent had been currently in Italy. Obviously, Juventus and Inter Milan had expressed their interest in Alexis Sanchez. Had been in negotiations with his agent. Obviously, I think he did say initially he'd agreed the pay cut. Man United willing to let him go on a long season loan. We're willing to pay half his wages off, because obviously we can't get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently. Like I said, based on his wages, I think he's on about 400 grand a week. Rise up to around 500 grand a week. Rise up to around 500,000 pounds a week. Based on image rights, based on bonuses and all that. And we all do know his current wages are having a really, really bad effect effect on the football club. Now, obviously, we know Sanchez hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. He hasn't exceeded expectation levels that Manchester United as well thought he would have done, because he did really, really well at Arsenal. He did have 4 good years with Arsenal, did Sanchez. Obviously, he played under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona when he was young, and he did really, really well with Barcelona, but he has not replicated this at all at Manchester United. He's been so inconsistent. I think he's become injury prone as well, since he's come at Manchester United as like Sanchez. I think he's sustained about 4 injuries, and he's only been here about 16 months now. Obviously, has no future at the club anyway, aging up, 30 years of age, and of course lost that yard of pace, because obviously he's one of the problematic players there for Manchester United, so it's looking likely he's going to be leaving. Indeed, is Alexis Sanchez, so we definitely need to get rid of him. Obviously, we do know as well that Valencia is leaving the club, so obviously, we're going to need a replacement for him at right back. We need obviously, an upgrade to Ashley Young. Obviously, we do need a couple up for Diego Dalot, because we obviously know that Diego Dalot is the upcoming future. So lots to currently sort out at Manchester United. We do need a massive overhaul this summer, and you can see potentially the deficiencies in the squad. But how are we going to be with our recruitment this summer? Are we going to be sensible with our? Are we going to be mad with our recruitment? Are we going to be sensible with our recruitment? I've heard quite a few people saying, we should be sensible over our recruitment this summer, because there's quite a few players on Manchester United's agenda that are available for a reasonable figure, of course. So maybe we should be sensible over our recruitment this summer. But like I said, in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't know if he's got the status to command Manchester United in that position. But like I said, if this bad vein of form continues going on into next season, I will be very, very critical of him indeed, and I will want him out of Manchester United. But like I said, any players we do sign this summer have got to fit the culture and the history of the club. Obviously, Solskjaer is looking to buy him into our history, but as you can see at the moment, there is cultural problems at Manchester United, of course, that do need addressing. But I think £250 million, should be enough to currently, get at least 5 players on the board. And like I said, if we're cashing for that trio, Pogba, De Gea, and Lukaku, that's going to help us with our transition, as you all currently know. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and on this squad, Z's, as I said, Man United spent a lot of money, since Ferguson retired, of course. But regardless of who our manager is, we're never going to get anyone that's going to follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. Of course, obviously we had 20 odd years of success under Alex Ferguson, so it doesn't matter who we've got as manager. We're never going to do what we did under Alex Ferguson, of course. But obviously we want to get back to being a competitive elite level football club, obviously, and we're a number of years of currently getting back to that current level, of course. And like I said, I do believe our aspirations at least in the next couple of seasons is going to be fighting for that top 4. As I said, I think £700 million has been invested into the club, since Ferguson retired. We've seen players coming in, of course, and of course we've seen players leave. Solskjaer hasn't got the managerial experience, not to the highest level anyway. Of course, he was a great player for 11 years, but he hasn't really got that managerial experience as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that obviously it does concern, but we've got to give him the summer to spend, see who can bring in, see who basically leaves. And obviously he's making plans for the summer. Looking at it, ultimately Daniel James is going to be our first signing, as you all know. I updated you about this yesterday. I think his transfer to Manchester United is set to be announced sometime this week, which is very, very good news indeed. So yeah, there's been very, very good news coming out about Matty Stillett, as I said. So Barcelona now have opted out of the race, so he won't be going to Barcelona, of what recent reports have suggested out. So he could be on his way to Manchester United, and that will be very, very good indeed if he was to make the move to Old Trafford. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.